The Galactic Council, an assembly of the most powerful alien civilizations in the galaxy, had convened in its great hall on the central planet of Eldora Prime. The council chamber, a vast dome adorned with the insignias of hundreds of member species, was filled with tension as representatives of the most influential races debated a growing concern: the rapid expansion of the Human Alliance. The Human Alliance, a relatively new player on the galactic stage, had recently secured control of the Barnard Star System. Rich in resources and strategically located near vital trade routes, Barnard Star had long been coveted by many of the older, more established species in the galaxy. The acquisition by the humans was seen as an affront, a disruption of the delicate balance of power. At the head of the chamber, Grand Counselor Vorkath, a towering, multi-limbed being with a crystalline exoskeleton, called for order. His voice, a resonant hum that echoed throughout the hall, demanded attention. Members of the Council, the time has come to address the Human Alliance and their unchecked expansion. We cannot allow a species so young, so inexperienced, to control such a vital system. They must be made to understand their place in the galaxy. Text-hurry murmur of agreement spread through the chamber. The representatives of the Zandari, a race of highly intelligent telepathic amphibians, nodded in unison. The Dranics, massive reptilian warriors, snarled their approval. Even the cautious Eldari, ancient beings of light and energy, expressed concern over humanity's rise. Counselor Thorax, a member of the Zarn, a species of insectoid strategists, stepped forward. We must issue an ultimatum. The Human Alliance must relinquish control of Barnard Star immediately, or we will take it by force. The resolution passed swiftly, and within hours, a message was sent to the Human Alliance. The ultimatum was clear. Leave Barnard Star, or face the combined might of the Galactic Council's military forces. On Earth, the seat of the Human Alliance, the message from the Galactic Council was received with a mix of outrage and non-cooperation. The Council's ultimatum was seen as an act of aggression, a challenge to humanity's sovereignty and right to expand. Admiral Jane Carter, the Supreme Commander of the Human Alliance fleet, stood in the war room of the Alliance headquarters, surrounded by holographic displays of fleet movements, star maps, and intelligence reports. Her steely gray eyes scanned the data before her as she considered the situation. We can't allow them to bully us into submission, Carter said, her voice calm but firm. Barnard Star is ours by right, and we will defend it. The war room buzzed with activity as officers and strategists discussed possible scenarios. Among them was General Marcus Hayes, the head of Alliance Ground Forces, a seasoned veteran with a reputation for turning the tide in hopeless situations. They're underestimating us, Hayes said, his voice tinged with a hint of amusement. They think we're still the same species we were when we first joined the galactic community. They have no idea what we're capable of now. Carter nodded. We've advanced rapidly, both in technology and strategy. If they want to test us, they'll find out just how far we've come. The decision was unanimous. The Human Alliance would not surrender Barnard Star. Instead, they would prepare for war. The message was sent back to the Galactic Council, a simple but powerful response. We will not yield. The Galactic Council's response was swift and decisive. Within days, a massive fleet, representing the combined might of the Council's military forces, was assembled and dispatched to the Barnard Star System. The fleet was an awe-inspiring sight, a vast armada of warships from dozens of different species, each designed for maximum lethality. The Human Alliance, however, was ready. As the Council fleet approached the system, they were met by an equally impressive sight: the full might of the Human Alliance fleet, arrayed in a formidable defensive formation. Thousands of sleek, heavily armed warships formed a wall of steel and firepower, protecting the planets and installations in the system. Admiral Carter stood on the bridge of the Horizon, the flagship of the Alliance fleet, her gaze focused on the massive display screen that showed the approaching Council fleet. "They're here," she said, her voice carrying the weight of the moment. "Just as we expected," replied Captain Elena Vasquez, the Horizon's executive officer. "All ships report ready. Orders, Admiral?" Carter took a deep breath, her resolve unshakable. "We hold the line. Engage at will." The opening salvo was like the thunder of 1,000 storms. The two fleets clashed with ferocity, exchanging volleys of plasma, missiles, and kinetic weapons. The void between them became a maelstrom of explosions and energy bursts as ships on both sides were torn apart. Despite the overwhelming numbers of the Council fleet, the human alliance fought with unmatched tenacity. Advanced AI-controlled drones swarmed the Council ships, overwhelming their defenses and causing chaos in their formations. Human warships, equipped with cutting-edge shield technology and powerful weapons, punched through the enemy lines, targeting key vessels with pinpoint precision. The Council forces, expecting a quick and decisive victory, were shocked by the level of resistance they encountered. The humans fought with a determination that bordered on ferocity, their tactics unpredictable and devastatingly effective. On the bridge of the horizon, Admiral Carter coordinated the battle, her mind sharp and focused. "Target the Zandari command ship," she ordered. "Without their telepathic coordination, their fleet will falter." The horizon unleashed a barrage of high-energy railgun shots, each one propelled at near light speed. The rounds struck the Zandari command ship with pinpoint accuracy, tearing through its shields and hull. The massive ship shuddered and then exploded in a blinding flash of light, sending shockwaves through the Council fleet. As the Zandari's telepathic coordination collapsed, the Council fleet began to lose cohesion. Their formations broke, and their ships became vulnerable to the persistent assault of the human alliance. The destruction of the Zandari command ship marked a turning point in the battle. The Council fleet, once a cohesive and deadly force, was now a disorganized mass of ships, each struggling to maintain its own defensive perimeter. The human alliance pressed the advantage. Admiral Carter ordered a full-scale assault, directing her forces to target the weakened segments of the Council fleet. The horizon led the charge, its powerful weapons tearing through the enemy lines. General Hayes, commanding the ground forces from a fortified position on Barnard Star 2, coordinated the deployment of orbital bombardments and planetary defenses. The Council had intended to launch ground invasions to secure the system's planets, but Hayes's forces were more than ready. As Council dropships attempted to land on Barnard Star 2, they were met with a wall of anti-aircraft fire and precision strikes from orbital platforms. The few dropships that made it through the initial barrage were quickly surrounded and neutralized by human ground forces, who fought with a level of skill and coordination that left the alien invaders stunned. "This isn't a battle," Hayes remarked as he surveyed the battlefield from his command center. "It's a rout." Back in space, the human alliance fleet continued to dismantle the Council's armada. The Draenix warships, known for their brute strength and heavy armor, found themselves outmaneuvered by smaller, faster human frigates that exploited their slow-turning speeds and exposed weaknesses in their armor. Meanwhile, the Eldari vessels, relying on their advanced energy weapons and defensive fields, were countered by the Alliance's EMP devices and kinetic strikes, which bypassed their energy shields entirely. The Eldari, ancient and wise, had never faced an opponent that could match them technologically, and they paid the price for their overconfidence. As the battle raged on, the Council forces began to realize the full extent of their miscalculation. What was supposed to be a show of force had turned into a desperate struggle for survival. Hours into the battle, the once mighty Council fleet was in full retreat. The surviving ships, battered and burning, began to disengage, fleeing the Barnard Star System in disarray. The human alliance, victorious and unrelenting, pursued the retreating forces, ensuring that they would not return. Admiral Carter watched as the last of the Council ships disappeared into hyperspace. She allowed herself a moment of satisfaction but quickly turned her attention to the aftermath. "Damage report?" she asked, her voice calm despite the adrenaline still coursing through her veins. Captain Vasquez responded promptly. "We've lost a few ships, but the fleet is mostly intact. Minor damage to the horizon, nothing we can't repair. Ground forces report minimal casualties." Carter nodded. "Good. Let's start recovery operations and secure the system. I want all Council debris analyzed for intel and send a message back to Earth. The Barnard Star System is secure. As the fleet began to regroup and tend to the wounded, the full scope of their victory became clear. The human alliance had not only defended Barnard Star, but had delivered a devastating blow to the Galactic Council's military power. The news of the Council's defeat at Barnard Star spread like wildfire across the galaxy. Species that had once viewed humanity as a minor power, unworthy of consideration, now saw them in a new light. The message was clear. Humanity was a force to be reckoned with. On Eldora Prime, the Galactic Council was in turmoil. The defeat had shaken the very foundations of the Council's authority, and member species were now questioning their leadership. Grand Counselor Vorkath, who had championed the Ultimatum, was under intense scrutiny. In a private chamber, Vorkath met with several key counselors, their faces grim and voices low. "This debacle has weakened us all," Counselor Thorax said, his mandibles clicking in agitation. "The humans are stronger than we anticipated. We cannot afford another confrontation like this." Vorkath, for the first time in his long tenure, felt the weight of his mistakes. "We underestimated them," he admitted, his voice tinged with regret. "Their technology, their tactics, they are far more advanced than we gave them credit for." Counselor Lyran, an Eldari elder, spoke with a tone of caution. "Perhaps it is time we reconsider our approach to the human alliance. They have proven themselves formidable. It may be wiser to seek diplomatic solutions rather than military ones." The room fell silent as the counselors contemplated their next move. The defeat at Barnard Star had humbled them, forcing them to acknowledge that humanity was no longer a species to be dismissed or threatened lightly. Back on Earth, the victory at Barnard Star was met with celebration and reflection. The human alliance had faced its greatest challenge yet, and had emerged stronger, more united than ever. Admiral Carter stood before a large window in the Alliance headquarters, gazing out at the stars. The battle had been won, but she knew that this was just the beginning. The galaxy was vast, and humanity's place in it was still being defined. General Hayes joined her, his expression one of quiet satisfaction. "We showed them what we're made of," he said. Carter nodded. "We did. But we also sent a message to the entire galaxy. They'll think twice before challenging us again." Hayes grinned. "Good. Let them think twice. It'll give us time to get even stronger." As they stood there side by side, they both understood the significance of what had transpired. The battle for Barnard Star had not just been about territory or resources. It had been about proving that humanity was a force to be respected, a species that would not be intimidated or coerced. The galaxy had taken note, and from that day forward, the human alliance would be seen as a power to be reckoned with.